During the early hours of yesterday morning, another murder of a most revolting and fiendish character took place in Spitalfield. This is the 7th which has occurred in this immediate neighbourhood, and the character of the mutilations leaves very little doubt that the murderer in this instance is the same person who has committed the previous ones.
I thought there were only 4.
Shh! The scene of this last crime is at number 26 Dorset Street, which is about 200 yards distant from 13 Hanbury Street, where the unfortunate woman, Mary Ann Nichols, was so foully murdered.
Hugo, what are you doing?
Writing my initials next to these ones. A.R. Who do we know with the initials A.R.?
Get on with it, Tom.
At about 1 o'clock yesterday morning, a person living in the court opposite to the room occupied by the woman heard her singing the song, Sweet Violets.
Sweet violets, sweeter than all the roses.
Tom, finish reading it.
All over from head to toe.
Tom?
Covered all over with sweet violets. There once was a farmer who took a young miss in the back of a barn where he gave her a
Lecture on horses and chickens and eggs, and told her that she had such beautiful
Manners that suited the girl of her charms, girl that he wanted to take in his
washing and ironing, and then if she did, they would get married and raise lots of
sweet violets, sweeter than all the roses. Covered all over from head to toe. Covered all over with sweet violets.
Well, if you won't read it, I will. Just read it, would you?
Somebody's hungry for all the gory details.
Maybe he's wondering what the paper says about him. Perhaps if you can sneak off from the dormitory to come here, you can also sneak off to London.
Don't be ridiculous. Just get on with it.
All right. At 11:15 yesterday morning, as the woman was 35 shillings in arrears for the rent, Mr. McCarthy sent an employee to number 13 to get some rent, but knocking on the door, he was unable to obtain an answer. He then turned the handle of the door and found it was locked. A pane of glass in one of the windows was broken, so he put his hand through the aperture.
You're such an infant, Archie.
You're the one screeching like a little girl.
Do you think it was the ghost?
Ooh.
They say she was strangled to death.
In this very wardrobe.
by a royalist soldier during the Bolton Massacre of 1644.
They say she begged for life. Please, please don't kill me.
Fine. If you're going to be like this about it,
Wait. No more jokes.
promise.
Cross my heart. He put his hand through the aperture and pulled aside the muslin curtain which covered it. On his looking into the room, a shocking sight presented itself. He could see a woman lying on the bed, entirely naked, covered with blood, and apparently dead. Her throat was cut from ear to ear right down to the spinal column. The ears and nose had been cut clean off, while the breasts had also been cleanly cut off and placed on a table which is by the side of the bed. The stomach and abdomen had been ripped open while the face was slashed about so that the features of the poor creature were beyond all recognition. The kidneys and heart had also been removed from the body and placed on the table by the side of the breasts. The liver had likewise been removed and lain on the right thigh. The lower portion of the body and uterus had been cut out, and these appeared to be missing. The thighs had been cut. A more horrible or sickening sight could not be imagined.
It's him. It has to be.
But this is so much more
Gruesome.
He's evolving. He's developing new techniques.
Do I detect a hint of excitement, James?
No, of course not.
Do you like the idea of cutting a woman into little pieces?
Don't be disgusting! I'm just pointing out that he clearly has a fascination with dissection. Perhaps he's a medical student.
Perhaps he's a medical student.
Aren't you always reading medical journals?
James? Isn't your father a doctor?
Very funny.
Perhaps they've got it wrong. We shouldn't be calling him Jack the Ripper, but James the Ripper! Father Aloysius!
No, he's supposed to be away from the Abbey until tomorrow. How did he find us?
You were laughing so loudly. You gave us away.
I have the only key. Don't leave me with him. Please don't leave me with him. Promise me you won't leave me with him.
Sweet violets, sweeter than all the roses.